Slowly.
There's Caven.
There we go. Yo, I knew I should have washed my hair today.
You look like a potato.
Let us start with Raj Mukherji. If you want to kick us off.
You know, believe it or not, that sandy beach along Caven Point is the only sandy beach for miles in either direction. You know, they bring school kids here, thousands of children every year, to study and learn about the migration, the annual migration of the horseshoe crab, the monarch butterfly. There are species of migratory birds that you can't see in other places. The hubris of a billionaire to look at public land from up there and literally think, I could just buy that. A credit to our citizen guardians for standing up for our precious open space, public crown jewel of the state park system, Liberty State Park. For all these years, every time somebody proposes something new, we owe our natural resources, we owe our public parks to the next generation, improved in value rather than impaired. And I just want to thank all of you for making that happen. That's the only reason this is happening. And I really want to appreciate and acknowledge my my running mate, Senator Brian Stack, for sponsoring this bill in the Senate. And deviating from his own prior bill for sitting down with us, understanding our concerns and agreeing with them. Because without him, I couldn't be getting this bill done. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I just want to say this is victory for the people. This is a step in the right direction. And this is the message that we need to send, that this is Liberty State Park. Hence the term state park. It belongs to the public. Despite what anyone say, think, or do, this is the people's park. And I just want to commend all of you and commend Sam and commend the legislators for pushing a bill that's going to protect our park, because ultimately it's our job to protect and reserve the park and keep it public and make sure that we can enjoy this public gym. I don't know about y'all, but I run this park all the time. And I'm so, you too? Yes, I too. And I'm just so grateful that we're going to protect our natural habitat. It's a step in the right direction. And again, thank everyone for the push. I've seen a lot of people loaded up going down Trenton. They use intimidation tactics. They use false racial narrative. But ultimately, the people have prevailed, people. So, yes. And thank you, Sam, the small giant. We appreciate you, young fella.
Thank you, James Solomon.
I just want to say, as someone who's very clumsy, this is a very, I do have to go to a 5-year-old birthday party in a few minutes, but that is why we're here, right? I've told this story before, but for those who don't know, during COVID, where did I take my then 2-year-old and 6-month-old? Right over to those hills in Liberty State Park, right by the flags, right in the playgrounds, because this is our oasis. This is our special place, and we have a simple message for Paul Fireman. You can't buy it. You can't buy a park. And more importantly than that, you can't buy a grassroots movement. What you see here is a testament to the work of Sam and the Friends of Liberty State Park and all of you who are sending a clear message to money. Right? Unfortunately, we saw the effects of money in politics this last spring in Trenton. Right? We saw the ability to buy legislation without the support of the people. But we stand here today to say it's not going to happen again, because we're going to pass the Caven Point Protection Act. We are going to guarantee that that land is preserved in perpetuity for every single generation of Hudson County youngster, New Jersey youngster, who's going to use that land as a natural classroom to learn about the New York Bay. So I stand proudly with you. You have my commitment. No matter what the political cost, I will be with you. I will do what it takes to keep this park free, open, and green for every single person in Jersey City and Hudson County. Thank you all so much.
First, thank you all for coming out on this beautiful Saturday. And this fight takes everybody. There's no easy way out. So I'm so proud of my friend, Assemblyman Raj Mukherji, who has been fighting the Assembly for the original legislation, which would have been better, but is continuing to fight for the Caven Point Protection Act. He is an incredible legislator. He's an incredible advocate for his community, for this park, and next year he will be an incredible senator in our legislature. My friend Raj Mukherji and our friend Brian Stack, who cannot be here tonight, I assure you, is fighting as hard as he can to get this piece of legislation passed. That is what it's about. My 2.5-year-old daughter is here, and during COVID, we brought her to Caven Point, as Councilman Solomon said, and it is a special place. We live in an extremely challenging time right now. We live in the most polarized environment we've ever been in, but look at that part. That is the type of thing that can unite us. That cannot be replaced. That should unite every person who lays eyes on it to protect it for future generations, and that's exactly what we'll do. We'll do it together. We'll get it done. And I look forward to seeing you over there for decades to come. Thank you so much.
I'm going to ask the longest champion of Liberty Park in Hudson County, Commissioner Bill O'Day, to say a few words. He's been with us going back over 30 years and has never wavered in his support for a free people's park.
Yes, for over 30 years we've had to fight for this park. And we're going to unfortunately continue to have to fight. Because when you have the crown jewel, everyone's going to try to steal it. Everyone's going to try to buy it. But that crown jewel must belong to the people and no one else. You can't buy it, you can't steal it, you can't legislate it. And we have to make sure that that's clear. I have to commend Assemblyman Mukherji because he showed a lot of courage in opposing that bill. Because people said, oh, you oppose getting a lot of money. No, you don't want to get money if that money can be used for the wrong reason. And we have to let people know that, and we have to let people realize that. And let's make no mistake about it. This is a battle. This is a war. We're fighting against a billionaire. Billionaires don't just go away quietly. So we have to be ever, ever vigilant. And we have to make sure that the law gets moved and that the law gets passed. And whether it's to sign petitions, whatever we need to do. And we've got to find out who within the legislature is going to try to block this. Because there will be people there that will try to block it. And then we've got to find out who we know that are friends and relatives that live in those districts, and we have to make them bother, lobby, harass those individuals to get this bill posted, both in the Senate and the Assembly, and then to get the bill passed and get Governor Murphy to sign it. So this is the beginning of, I don't know, Sam, the 30th struggle. The struggles go on and on and on. But this park continues to be the beautiful beacon of our state and of this region. It's amazing to have a little beach in the middle of Jersey City. We can never, ever, ever lose that. We can never, ever lose the property that is preserved, where there's wildlife, where there are natural resources. You can't replicate it. You can't remake it. So we can never, ever lose it. So Sam, I'm here. I may be getting a little older, but I'm staying in shape. I'm gonna do a 100-yard dash against Menendez in a couple of weeks. We'll donate all the money to charity. He only has to give me a 30-yard head start. So bet on me. But listen, Sam, I'm with you. The county will be with you for whatever you need to do. Our council members, our legislators, but everybody here. When we leave today, we've got to continue. We have to contact people. We have to call people every day. Send a text, whatever, because this is a battle. He'll lurk quietly. The billionaire will lurk quietly and use his money to buy influence. You can't underestimate that. But the people, united, will never be defeated. I learned that in the 80s, and it's still true today. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill O'Day. We are fortunate to have on our side a real fighter for youth and people of all ages. So thank you, Chris Gadsden.
Thank you, Sam. Last week I was just speaking with Sam about, because this has been really a fight, over the last couple of years. And, the group that Firemen has helped fund to create a different type of narrative, a lot of the rhetoric and a lot of the stuff that they do is like really unnecessary. Because, like I told people all the time, you could have sat down with Sam and friends of Liberty State Park and every conservation group, and you could have hashed out some things. Liberty State Park, nobody's against active recreation. But what people are against is really using dollars to privatize and to open up and make these commercial and make this park profitable. See, that's the whole thing. So you got to have this balance of making sure that it's still a people park, enjoying the habitat and everything else, and you can have active recreation. I look forward to like our youth in Jersey City coming down and really enjoying, parks and tennis courts and all soccer fields and all the rest of that. But I don't want it to come at the expense of kind of like slowly ebbing away at this habitat and taking away this portion of the park and things like that. So we have to challenge the EPA and everyone else, whatever, use the money wisely and make sure that you have this nice balance to preserve, the flight patterns of birth, to preserve all the things, whatever that take place inside of this park. Don't interrupt nature because you want your personal political agenda, to be followed. So those are the things that we got to keep our eyes on, because while people are down in trend and you'll hear about these committee meetings and things like that, they'll have everyone who I'm cool with, a lot of people, but they're not really pushing the proper narrative. They're scripted and they're doing other things, whatever, to advance the efforts of firemen and everything else like that. So let's be very diligent and very vigilant on just the narrative that's coming forth from the other side. And that's what, I do, and that's what Council Gilmore do, because like we put ourselves, on the line because people have these little fake racial undertones and things like that to try to divide us and things like that. But we can't be divided. All right, we can't be divided. So thank you, Sam, for your fight. Thank you for bringing forth allies and people all across the city, building coalition, because that's what you've done for over 40 years. And I support you, and I thank God for you. Thank you.
We got to stand strong. We have to keep us a united front here and take on whatever the issues are. And I would say, as I said a couple of years ago, all roads lead to firemen. That is the problem here in Liberty State Park, and with this phony group that he propped up that are on his payroll, and that they're being paid to carry the firemen's water. So anyway, with that, let's not be confused about what's going on. And that, so long as we stand together, stand tall, stand strong, we will win. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Greetings, good afternoon to all my fellow and women, friends of Liberty State Park. I come to you today with a particular perspective as woman, as black woman, as teacher, and as a lifelong resident of Hudson County, Bayonne, Jersey City. Yeah, thank you. I just want to make a couple of points. As a teacher, you don't know the level of hurt and of confusion that our children are going through right now because of all the stuff that they've seen going back 2020. And this place here, Liberty State Park, is a place of healing. It's a place where they can come and be at the water, be at the land, see nature in its full glory. It is important that it remains. Another thing that I have to say that personally, 2020, the COVID, all of that, it devastated me. It devastated my family. In a matter of a month, I lost my nephew, I lost my sister, I lost my mother, and then I lost another sister. 2022 here was the first time that my family could come and be together and start our process of healing. And this was a wonderful thing to have this beauty all around us. It lifted us all up. This was the first time we got together. Another thing I want to say is that the urban city that we all live in, they're just choking us. Big buildings going up everywhere. They're narrowing all of our beautiful boulevards. We talk about Bergen Avenue, that nice boulevard. It's all, we're choking. Grand Street, we're choking. And all they keep doing is putting up these huge Lego buildings. That's what I say, that these architects, they play with Legos all their lives, because that's all we see. We need a Liberty State Park because we all need to come to the water, to the land, to nature, to heal ourselves, to replenish ourselves. We need this park. And they talk about recreation. You know where we need recreation? In that urban areas, in our communities where our children are. Not they have to come all the way here to find it. It needs to be right in their neighborhoods. So I say to you today that this is a most worthy cause. This is the most important cause, nature. The environment, Mother Nature is crying out to us, help. We all live here. We ain't got nowhere to go. Yeah. Liberty State Park as a natural preserve matters. The urban needs to be able to meet nature. That's the only way we're going to understand why the environment is important. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. As always, this has been a huge group effort and everybody should be proud of, and can't thank you enough for all being part of this over the years. When it comes to the elected officials, everybody here, every elected official who stood up has turned away money. This is an ATM. They might as well just put one in. Firemen should just put an ATM right there, right. And any elected official or anybody who wants to be bought up can just drive through. Because he'll pay that, right? That's what they'll give money for. Not for helping the park. They've been here 20, what, how many years? 20 some odd years? Have they ever given back? Has there been educational programs for your children? Nothing. They give to other people who are going to help them take our park away. Now what I'm going to share is just trying to be useful, and Sam always reminds me about that, is that so one of the things that they've talked about, and it's perfect that we're right here, look at that beautiful peninsula, that sandy peninsula that Assemblyman Mukherji had said, right, is you can't find that anywhere else, where we have the Nature Education Center uses it. It's gorgeous. Well, the stuff that's come out of these guys and their PR firm and their insiders, the Eric Shufflers of the world who get paid to tell lies and say that's okay because I'm an insider and I've worked with different elected officials in the past. Well, what they've been trying to say about this, and you can see it with your own eyes and you all know it, is they say, oh, you know why we have to get Caven Point? It's because it's contaminated. It needs to be remediated. Well, it is a lie. It's an absolute lie. A couple things that everybody should know, you may already, but is that the DEP gave what used to be called a no further action letter. They went in, they put boardwalks, because the level of contamination, all that needs to happen there, and it's the same all around Jersey City, is that you can't have too much physical contact with those contaminants. you don't have contact in the wetlands, you have boardwalks. But why is it so important for them to talk about the remediation? Because you look at this area, right, and you see how that's up high. Well, what they need to do to get this to be a golf course is to cap it. So they call it remediation. What remediation is for them is piling 3, 4, 5 feet of soil to level it up so that they can make it part of their golf course. There's no legal reason for it to be remediated. There's no threat. It's already signed off by DEP, but yet those lies and misinformation persist. Anybody ever has any questions about it or gets challenged on it, please reach out to me or Sam and we'll share documents. But that's one of the big lies that has to be dispelled right away. Everybody knows, and we're about to see it, but the other thing is, we should all be thrilled. This isn't just a great natural area for Hudson County and Jersey City. It's one of the great natural areas in the state, in the region, anywhere. It's along the Atlantic Flyway. It's an estuarine area. It has an abundance of bird species. It has monarch butterfly migrations, the marvel of horseshoe crab migrations each year that you can see out there. I won't keep going on. There's a lot of speakers. We're all armed. We're all together. This is a beautiful battle, despite its ugliness in many ways. Thank you all for everything that you've done.
Thank you, Greg.
So students are able to access Caven Point, which is typically inaccessible over the summer, in order to do research. So doing ecology research, which again would be typically inaccessible in such an urban area. And I am introducing two students who have been working here for the past 3 months. They are both seniors at NJCU on the pre-med track. So please join me in welcoming Elam Mesa and Robert.
So my name is Elam Mesa and this is Robert, and we've been here for a good majority of the summer, coming twice a week to survey the birds and see what's going on. A large part of our research is going to be looking at the microplastics that are present in the environment and seeing how they transmit into the birds via ingestion, because as of right now, microplastics is a fairly new field. It's not much being studied on them, but you can expect that about everything that you eat has microplastics in them, whether it comes from the beads in your everyday plastics or mostly from like tires across the roads. And there's not much known about them. We don't really know whether they cause harm or not, but we do know that they do build up in higher order animals like birds, and especially us, since we're top of the food chain. And that's what we've been looking at. And Caven Point so far has been really magnificent. We've seen a lot of cool birds, a lot of migratory birds, a lot of birds that we didn't think we'd see here. And we've seen them come through, pass, already be gone. But if they're here year after year, then it just goes to show how important Caven Point really is.
And I just wanted to also mention that we are fairly new here to Liberty State Park. We haven't been here our whole lives. But what I can say though is, for the few months that we have been here, we've really grown extremely attached to this place in a way I never would have imagined in a million years. I mean, it's different when you experience a park than when you just say, I'm going to a park, right? And being in the midst of those animals, being in the midst of the trees and the plants and all the different birds and species of animals, it really goes to show how important it is to keep this park open. Also looking specifically from an academic point of view, if you really think about it, we humans, we've evolved through the use of nature. That's how science has grown since the dawn of mankind. And if we close down this park, and if we close down and rebuild it into a golf course of all things, then what does that say about the advancement of society, of human society, and of humans in general, right? So I believe that for all the young people that are here, we need to pick up where the old people leave off, and we need, not in a morbid sense of way, our job now is to continue to fight until we eventually win this war. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for your words of wisdom, young scientists, and I hope a lot of you will be able to walk to the beach. I appreciate your patience in staying and listening to these wonderful speakers today. We will prevail and we will save this park for future generations. It's the people's will, pass the bill. 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 Thank you. God bless you. God bless Liberty State Park. Whose park? Our park. Whose park? Our park. Whose park? Our park.